Hello students. In this session we will discuss about echo. So when you are standing in front of some building or in the middle of some hills, you must have heard the sound which you made after some time, right? So this repetition of the sound is known as echo, or better we can define echo as it's nothing but the reflection of the sound from some distant obstacle after the original sound ceases, right? So we can define echo as reflection of sound from distant obstacles. For example, these obstacles can be buildings, it can be some cave, it can be hills, etc., right? After original sound ceases, right? So this is the way to define the phenomenon of echo. Now for echo there must be some conditions. So let us discuss about the conditions for echo. So if we discuss about conditions, the first condition is that the reflected sound must reach to your ear after minimum 0.1 second of the original sound. Because when you make some sound, that sound persists in your brain for a time interval of 0.1 second. If within that particular time interval the reflected sound comes to your ear, you cannot differentiate between those two sounds, right? So the time interval between the sound you made and the reflected sound approached to you must be 0.1 second, right? So what I can write is minimum time interval between making of sound and reflected sound to approach must be 0.1 second, right? So this is known as the persistence of sound, because for a duration of 0.1 second the sound persists in your brain. Now from this particular information or this particular condition, we can also find out the distance or the minimum distance of the obstacles from the source of the sound to obtain echo, right? For example, you are standing in front of some obstacles, right? Let's say you are standing over here. Let's say the distance between you and this obstacle is d. Let's say the velocity of the sound and the normal temperature. So I can write down velocity of sound at normal temperature be v, and the velocity is usually 340 meter per second, right? And to obtain echo you have got the minimum time interval between the making of the sound or the creation of the sound and the reflected sound to appear or approach is 0.1 second. So you got the t min or minimum equals to 0.1 second. Now we will find out what should be the minimum distance between the source and the obstacle to obtain echo. Let's call it as d min, right? So if you make sound, the sound will go over here, it will hit, it will reflect back. So the total distance traveled by the sound is 2 into d min, right? So distance is equals to 2 times d min, right? Now we know velocity v equals to distance by time, or we can write in this case as our T minimum, right? So from here what we can write, minimum distance is equals to V into T minimum divided by 2. And if you just put the value, it's 340 into 0.1 divided by 2. So it comes around 170, and it will give you D mean to be 17 meter. So this is 17. So the minimum distance between the source of the sound and the obstacle must be 17 meter to obtain echo. If the obstacle is nearer to this D mean from the source of the sound, then you will not obtain the echo, right? So student, in this particular session we came to know about the echo and what are the conditions to obtain echo.